I'm with Bobi from Masterpiece Caravans. We've gone bush to check out the performance full off-road caravan. It's by Masterpiece Caravans. It's got a lot of new gear on it for 2024. Bobi, what are you most excited about when it comes to this van?
We go back to the TerraGlide suspension and the chassis by Road King. So the boys have engineered a magnificent chassis with a 6-inch A-frame, 4-inch continuous riser, the 4-inch box chassis, but most importantly the 4.5-ton rated TerraGlide suspension with the option of airbags. This particular model is the coil suspension, but you can upgrade it to the stage 3 wireless airbags, and that's the most we're super excited about, is running this TerraGlide suspension.
So what is it about the TerraGlide suspension that you think sets it apart from some of the other suspension options on the market?
It's got a higher articulation than the other suspensions, and it's got zero serviceability, so there's pressed bearings, there's no need to service, no greasing, no nothing. It's just got to make sure your brake pads are good and doing a wheel alignment as per the recommendations.
So for the caravan owner, it's really a set and forget system.
Correct.
So obviously when you're out bush, water's your main limiting factor. What have we got here?
We've got two 95-litre house water tanks, a 62-litre dedicated drinking water tank, and then the 100-litre grey water tank at the back. We've got an extended drawbar, we've got the dual toolboxes at the front with the slide outs for your barbies and your fridges. We've got the stone deflector, the DO35 coupling, you've got a work light at the front, everything that you need to be off-grid for longer, and making sure that when you're out there you can flick all the lights on and you feel completely safe, you can see what's going on and can enjoy yourself while you're out there in the wilderness.
And what do we put on the back?
On the back we run a 3-arm bumper bar with 2 jerry can holders, the spare wheel, you've got an external shower, you've also got a work light at the back and the dual reverse camera.
Question without notice, Bobi, is there anything about this caravan that you wish you had have added?
So we've added everything in here that we believe customers need to stay out there for longer. Really the only thing you can add to a performance is probably go the stage 3 wireless airbags and maybe whack a gas heater underneath the bed. Other than that, you're pretty well covered.
But we could chuck a kitchen into the tunnel boot if we wanted to?
Correct, you can add a slide out kitchen into the front. It weighs about 40 kilos, a little bit of an impact on the ball weight, but for those guys that have got the tow rig for it, most people add a slide out kitchen.
But this caravan, when it comes out of the factory for 2024, it is fully specced up with just about everything that you need to have that, big lap experience in total comfort.
We're so proud of what we've achieved, and I can't wait to take you inside to show you what the features are inside.
Yeah, I'm keen, Bobi. Can we check it out?
Let's go.
So we've stepped inside the performance full off-road caravan by Masterpiece, and Bobi, once again, what a beautiful caravan.
We're super proud of what we've achieved in the performance for 2024. We've listened to our customers as we normally do. We listen to our dealerships during our dealer conferences to come up with the 2024 spec performance. You've got the instantaneous hot water service, you've got a compressor fridge, fan forced oven, range hood and microwave are pretty standard. Ticks all the boxes when it comes to all the LED downlights, reading lights, touch lights.
It's pretty hot outside, Bobi. I mean, I wouldn't mind putting that air conditioner on, and we can do that, can't we? We can run that straight off the inverter if we want to.
Correct. We're running the Victron 2000 watt inverter with an 80 amp charger, 2 30 amp solar regulators, the 30 amp DC to DC charger, and we've got 500 watts of solar on the roof and 300 amp lithium battery.
So we don't need to be plugged into mains power. We can run, self-sufficiently off the grid and have plenty of solar input. We can charge the batteries off the car through the DC to DC charger. I mean, what a beautiful thing, modern technology.
It's absolutely amazing. The Victron system allows you 3 separate charging units. Unlike some of the charging systems where it all runs through the main BMS, the Victron allows you to charge through the 3 items independently, the charger, the solar regulators and the DC to DC, which gives you maximum power back into the battery.
So does that mean you can be charging, say, off 240 volt, but also be getting the power from the sun because it's charging independently?
Correct. That's why we also run the 2 solar regulators, one regulator for one side of the van, one regulator for the other. So if you're in the shade or you're not getting maximum sun, those regulators are working independently, giving you maximum coverage.
We've got a full bathroom in the back of the caravan, we've got the full shower, probably a washing machine as well.
Correct, we're running the top load washing machine, there's a Dometic toilet at the back, full height fiberglass shower, you've got 2 roof hatches, one inside the shower, one above the toilet, there's also a window above the toilet, so we've got plenty of ventilation, plenty of air coming in or out of the van as per your requirements.
And that bedroom in the front of the caravan, to me that looks like it's pretty well specced up.
It's an amazing bed setup. You've got the Queen inner spring pillow top mattress, which is an Australian made mattress, USB, USB-C, inverted power points, you've got nooks, you've got full height robe on the side. You've got two-way switches to turn the lights on and off in the ensuite, so you don't have to disturb your partner when lying in bed. There's reading lights. We're also running some new features for 2024 with the gas struts, the hidden hinges on the overhead cupboards. Again, we're listening to our consumers and following up on what they wanted to see in 2024, and I think we've delivered in spades.
And glad to see you haven't forgotten the Sirocco 2 fans.
2 Sirocco fans are standard. At the front, we're running a fantastic hatch of rain sensor.
Just sitting inside this caravan, you can tell that it's strong, that it's rigid and built well. And I saw we've got Artec Construction written on the outside of the caravan, but what does that actually mean?
Artec Construction is a very unique concept. It's the reason why we won Manufacturer of the Year. So we design and build a van in a way that's absolutely unique to anybody else in the caravan industry. 2-3 years ago, there was a big shift from a Meranti frame caravan to what's the next best thing. And various manufacturers have moved left, have moved right, and it's gone to either aluminium frame or sandwich panel. But we've come up with a product that is a replica of Meranti. Looks like Meranti, feels like Meranti, but it's not Meranti. So what it is, it's a unique composition of fiberglass and polyurethane, which means it's 33% lighter than Meranti. It has 0 water ingress properties, so we have pieces submersed in water in the factory for the last 2.5 years. 0 water ingress, 0 change in weight. So that's very, very important. Do we want you to have a water leak? The answer is no. Can it happen? Yes. We're not going to sit here and promise that it's never going to happen, but what we want you to know is that your frame will be there for years and years and years to come, as it's a lifetime guarantee on the rot-free material.
So it's not going to rot. It's 30% lighter than Meranti, but what do you do with those weight savings?
So what we do is, once we save the weight by building the van out of the fiberglass framing, we're able to put in more solar, bigger batteries, bigger wheels and tyres, different suspensions, and still keep you under the necessary max ATM, so you can still tow it with the normal tow vehicles available in Australia's market.
And what does this caravan weigh at tear roughly?
So these vans in the performance range can start around the 2700 mark and go all the way up to, touch over 3 tonne for the bigger 23-foot vans. So we're still capable of being towed by a 3.5 tonne tow vehicle, but again, we always got to be wary of the gross combined masses. We don't want you to be overloaded, we don't want you to get into trouble, but we as a business sit down, our dealerships as well as the factory, and we will go through all the weights, explaining to you the tear mass of the van, what impact the extras will have on adding to the tear mass of the van, what your approximate ball weight's going to be. We don't want you to get a surprise at the end when your van's finished, nor do we want you to come and pick up the van with a car not fit for purpose. So this is all ticked off at the beginning of the process, and we make it very, very clear of what the expectations are and what is required to tow one of our full off-road caravans.
So aside from the fiberglass framing, what else comprises the Artec Construction?
We also have a one-piece structural engineered floor with a top and bottom fiberglass layer and a XPS closed-cell foam core in the middle. And what that does is that's the insulator, so you can not get any transfer of hot and cold through the floor. And this has been tested with heat guns. You hit a heat gun on a traditional honeycomb floor that most manufacturers use today, and the transfer of heat is nearly instantaneous. And when you hit it with a heat gun on our floor, you do not get any heat transfer. If you do, it's very, very minimal. And as you know, hot and cold always comes from the ground, and it's super important that that transfer of heat is not coming into the van. Further to that, we use air cell insulation. What is air cell insulation? It is pocketed air cells that we run all the way through the exterior of the van. What that allows us to do is we can run the cabling over the top of the air cell insulation, as opposed to traditional polystyrene where you have to groove it out to run your cabling through the channels. What that does is you're losing your thermal rating every time you groove out that styrene. Same with a sandwich panel. You have to groove it out, you have to run channels, and therefore it's losing its thermal property, and it's also losing its structural integrity when you think about it. It's designed to be a solid panel, but when you're grooving it out, it ain't very solid anymore, is it? Listening to our customers and where they go, it was super important for us to discover these materials, and the Artec Construction has been a game changer, not only for Masterpiece Caravans, but an eye-opener for consumers that, looking for that rot-free frame, have been fed the information about it must be an aluminium frame, otherwise it's going to rot, etc. This is a game-changing material, and we can't wait to keep pushing it to the market.
Well, Bobby, it's an absolute ripper. I could see myself well and truly heading off in this caravan when it's time for me to retire. But in the meantime, if people want to find out more information, where should they go?
You can follow us on all our social pages or head on down to masterpiececaravans.com.au.